Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today I just wanted to talk about the Fnatic roster changes and I want to rank them all because lately I've been seeing a lot of players over the years being changed and moved around from or to Fnatic, and I've seen a lot of fans being angry at Fnatic for it. So today I just want to give my thoughts on every single roster change made in Fnatic from the year 2019 to currently. Alright, so a couple of rules before we continue. Each roster change that I go over will be giving two scores. One for how much it makes sense at the time, which I will short abbreviate as ATT, and how much it makes sense in hindsight. Now, the reason for this is actually very important. Lots of people like to look at the change like, oh, Fnatic should never have gotten Humanoid. It was such a dumb change right now. But what they didn't realize that at the end of 2021, Humanoid was actually by far the best mid laner in the entirety of the West. He was better than Caps, he was better than Larsa, he was better than Niski. In fact, he was dunking over Niski. And you can't rank roster changes in hindsight like this. You also have to look at the situations surrounding the roster change at the time. So that's why the rating ATT will be given. The second rule is that ratings will be based on factors such as the improvement or deterioration of skill of the player and how much better the new player is compared to the old player. It will also be based on how clutch is the new player in high pressure movement, or is there any drama caused by the new player. So without further ado, let's go over all of the roster changes. Rest in peace my throat. Alright, so first we have 2018 to 2019. So there are two main changes, which is first Soas to Bwipo and Caps to Nemesis. So at the time, we'll talk about Soas to Bwipo first. This was quite a bad change. Because if you didn't know, back then, Soas was considered the best top laner in the West. He was actually considered one of the best top laners in the world. And Bwipo was just one of the subs for Fnatic at the time. So at the time, it was a fight because why are you trading such a good top laner for your substitute and a rookie as well? Not only that, they lost Soas to the current 2019 Misfits, which were trying to make a super team with Gorilla and Hansama, if you all still remember that. And yeah, this was a really bad change, losing such a rock top laner for a rookie top laner. I'll give it a 5. The second is Nemesis to Caps. Now, a lot of people like to insult Fnatic for this change, and I want to play devil's advocate here. Because at the time, Caps hasn't been that amazing, and I can see Fnatic's logic. Because Fnatic, if you look at it, they have never been org that prioritize star players and want to lock in star players. So losing Caps at the time wasn't the biggest deal because he was nowhere as good in 2018 as he was good now. Plus, he's just got destroyed by Rookie in Worlds Finals. So I can see the logic behind it. But if I look at it in hindsight, yeah, this is the score I will give. Soas, in the end, he did accomplish nothing on Misfits. He went to NA, accomplished nothing in NA, and eventually retired. So, meanwhile, Bwipo, he became an extremely valuable upside. He became a carry top laner. He eventually even was able to play jungle as well. Spoiler alert. And overall, he was extremely good in Fnatic, so I'll give it, in hindsight, I'll give it a 9. They substitute a sort of washed top laner, and they got the most out of the rookies, so I'll give it a 9. As for Nemesis to Caps, I'll give it a 1. I don't think I need to explain why Caps became way better on G2. He helped G2 won so many titles. Meanwhile, to be honest, Nemesis, he was good, but he was nowhere as good as Caps. And Nemesis, he didn't really have that dog in him. So I'll give it a 1. So far, 1 good roster change, 1 bad roster change. Let's continue. Next, we have 2019 to 2020. Only change, Broxah to Self-Made. Now, this is really hard to evaluate because Self-Made was only on Fnatic for 1 year. And Broxah at the time, he didn't really have that much showings. So at the time, I gave it a 6 because Broxah in 2019 was a bit too inaggressive. He was a bit too passive. He was getting out jungled by TN heavily. And Self-Made at the time, he had some good showings in LL Rookie, so I give it a 6. Good things could happen, and good things did happen. Self-Made was a very integral part for Fnatic's 2 second place finishes. He, especially when it came to Worlds, when he was in carry jungle meta, he was honestly the main reason why Fnatic and Top Esports managed to go to 5 games. It wasn't Reckless, it wasn't Bwipo, it wasn't Hylissang. it was self-made. He was able to play picks like the Kha'Zix, the Evelyn, all of these aggressive picks, the Graves, the Kindred, that allows Fnatic to accelerate in tempo, which allows them to get early game leads over top esports. So yeah, overall I would think that Selfmade was a very good jungler. Well done to use Selfmade. And yeah, so overall this was a pretty good roster change as well. You see, so far, not so bad. The next is 2020 to 2021 spring. Two main changes. Nemesis to Niski and Reckless to Upset. Now, Nemesis to Niski is... I actually really like this change. Reason being that I thought that Nemesis, like I mentioned before, he didn't have that dog in him. He never go for clutch plays. He never really plays aggressive mid laners like the Zoe, the Gragasmith, or any assassins in general, or any roamers. He didn't really roam much. And I thought that Niski, he was a roamer in NA. Yes, he lost to TSM and didn't go to Worlds. But I thought that Niski had potential to do way better. So yeah, I gave it a 6 for the ATT. For Reckless to Upset, now I want to talk a bit about this change because a lot of people hated this change at the time. Reason being is a lot of people were doom posting about this. They were saying that how Reckless to G2 will be the end of Fnatic. They will ruin the region, maybe a one-team region. They're talking about how Fnatic was stupid. They lost so much in branding as well. And a lot of people were doom posting this change in particular. And I don't want to understate it. Lots of people out there like Monte Cristo, Touring, they were insulting Fnatic for letting Reckless go to G2. And I was as well. I mean, how could you let your star player who has been with you for so long go to your rival team? And that's why I give you a 4. Plus, they were treating him Upset, which has never won a title in his entire life. So yeah, I give it a 4. Really, really bad change at the time. And a lot of people were insulting Fnatic and they were rightfully so to be criticized. However, if you ask me, this was overall the best roster change in a nutshell. First of all, in hindsight, Nemesis was way better than Niski. He overall gelled way better with Fnatic. He had a way more aggressive playstyle, way more proactive. If you watch the New 21, which I did, he was constantly roaming, syncing up with junglers, ganking other lanes. And by the time summer rolled around, he was an extremely strong asset. Remember his Twisted Fate, he was constantly roaming around the map. So yeah, I'll give it an 8. Can argue that maybe Nemesis had better mage play, but in terms of roaming, proactivity, happy today, Niski was way better. The second one was Reckless to Upset. In hindsight, I'll give it a 9. I do not care. If you look at 2021 and 2022 as a freaking whole, Upset was by far the most important member on Fnatic. He was carrying so many games, especially in 2021 summer and 2022 spring and summer. Fnatic these 2 years was super unstable. Their members had high variance. And having a guy like Upset who could just hard carry without any much resources was so important. So I don't care. I feel like Upset is super underrated. People like to mention that he has 0 titles, and I do not care. Upset is extremely important part of Fnatic. It was the reason why Fnatic was able to go to Worlds. It was the reason why they were able to remain competitive in 2022. So yeah, I gave this rating change a 9. Also because Reckless became a bum on G2. He accomplished nothing, that he became a KDA player. If you actually read between the lines, if you reach any news, like reports from Torin, he actually became a diva super hard to work with. So yeah, I'll give it a 9. I don't care. Next, we have 2021 spring to 2021 summer. So there were 2 changes that happened this year. First was Bwipo to Adam and Selfmade to Bwipo. So basically, Bwipo role swapped to jungle and Selfmade got replaced and Adam replaced Bwipo. So Bwipo to Adam at the time, it was a 4. Because honestly, Bwipo was still pretty good in top lane. He entered like hell sure, but if you ask me, he was still pretty good. So, and plus Adam is a rookie, so I'll give it a 4. Selfmade to Bwipo, I gave it a 3 at the time. Because Selfmade, come on, he just carried you throughout 2020, and you're replacing him with a guy that's never played jungle before in his life. And remember at the time, more people were criticizing Fnatic for this change as well. So I'll give it a 3. Overall, not a good move. Now, in hindsight, this was an extremely good move. Adam was, in his rookie year, which was half a split, he only played in Fnatic for half a split, he was extremely good. He constantly was able to beat top laners. It's actually, if you notice, he actually solo killed Wonder a bunch of times, if you remember. He was actually doing the carry top laner thing. He has super unique picks like the Darius, the Dr. Mundo. Overall, he was a pretty good player, so I'll give you a 7. Next thing I want to talk about is self-made to Bwipo, which I'll give you a 9. Bwipo was so good in 2021 summer. I actually wish that he continued playing jungle. He was the picks like Sinjao. I think he had other picks, but I can't remember. He was so good in jungle. He was constantly ganking. He was out jungling Yankos. He was out jungling Razork. He was out jungling. I forgot the jungler from Rogue's name, but yeah, he was out jungling everyone. And he was one of the main reasons why Fnatic was able to beat G2 in 2021 summer, because of the aggressive, high tempo playstyle. And he by himself, he actually enabled us. If you remember, at the end of 2021 summer, it was the era of high tempo for Fnatic. They were super aggressive. They had such a big goal button, and big part of it was with Bwipo. So yeah, I will give this Bwipo rating a 9. Next, we have 2021 summer to 2022, and honestly, there were a lot of changes. Adam to Wonder, Bwipo to Razork, and Niski to Humanoid. So before I talk about this, I want to mention one thing that I forgot to mention at the start. I will not evaluate these changes based on how many titles they won, because Fnatic has not won any titles ever since 2019. So I'll just be looking at it by pure eye test, chemistry, what do their teammates say, and stuff like that. Okay, so with that intermission out of the way, let's talk about it. First, we have Adam to Wonder. At the time, it was stupid as hell. You are replacing Adam with the guy who just trashed him in the spring throughout 2021. It's like, this is so stupid. It's like, why? Wonder had super bad form in 2021, and Adam was super good in 2021. So no, I give you a 4. Super bad change, really stupid. Next we have Bwipo to Razork, and I give you a 5. Reason being is that, like I said, I really loved Bwipo's high octane, high tempo playstyle. I really loved it super much. And to see him being replaced by Razork, which is at the time an unknown quantity, I didn't know much to think of it, so I give it a 5. Lastly is Niski to Humanoid, I give it a 10. Now, a lot of Fnatic's players love to dunk on Fnatic for signing Humanoid. But if we actually go back in time, look at the Reddit threads, look at content creators, what they said, a lot of people love this change. Because they were able to sign Mad Lion's biggest strength, which is Humanoid. And you weaken the opponent while strengthening yourself. This had the makings of a super team. A lot of people were saying how Fnatic were going to be the best team in the West, how Humanoid is going to finally help them win the title. So many people were so happy with this change. So I'm sorry, don't let your hindsight bias cloud you. Look at it objectively. At the time, a lot of people loved it objectively. It was a very good choice. We didn't know that Humanoid would become a freaking bum. Objectively, I have to give it a 10. It was a good move at the time. You could argue that Fnatic signed him for too much and they allowed him too much power in the contract, yes. But objectively, he was an extremely good signing, so I have to give it a 10. I'm sorry. I don't get a lot of hate for this, but the 10 was a 10. Now, if you talk about it in hindsight, it's way different. Adam to Wonder, people like to retcon history because Wonder was pretty bad in Heretics and in G2s last year. But in between 2021 to 2022, he was actually really good. Like, I don't care what anyone thinks. 2022 was a year that Fnatic was super variants. They were inting so much. And Wonder was actually super stable. Him and Upstairs were overall the best player in 2022. Wonder was a rock. He never really inter much. He gave Fnatic the stability they needed to keep playing. Bwipo to Razork is a 5. Why? Because Razork is freaking inconsistent as hell. There are some years where he plays super well, some years where he plays super dumb and ins a lot. Like for example, by the end of 2022 summer, he got his shit together. But by 2023, he starts inting again. Then 2024, he starts doing well, then he starts doing badly. And Razork is like, he's not as good as someone like Inspired. And he keeps getting unjungled by rookies on G2, so I'm sorry to give you a 5. Humanoid, I give you a 3. I don't think I need to explain this. He's always inting. He always has motivation issues as well. And he's someone who I can tell doesn't really care much about the game. Just by looking at his gameplay, he doesn't really practice much in solo queue as well. I mean, his performance deteriorated so much in 2022, and so he was making dumb mistakes like not warding, or even though he did ward, he get caught in ganks. So yeah, Niski to human, I give it a 3. Even now, although he has good times, like for example 2022 summer was a really good period for him, especially when playoffs came around, I can give him no higher by 3, especially considering the amount of money that it costed Fnatic and the amount of power that Fnatic allowed him in his contract. I have to give him a 3. Because there was a thing where Fnatic wanted to replace him earlier, but they can't because of his contract, so yeah, no higher than a 3. Next. So 2023 had a lot of changes for Fnatic, like oh my god. So I want to go over it. So this one, I made a wrong thing here. I forgot to separate it. Oh yeah, never mind. So basically first we have Upside to Reckless and Hillsong to Rocks. Upside to Reckless, I hated it so much. So many people were like, oh, the prodigal son is returning to Fnatic. But I was so flabbergasted because did people just forget how bad Reckless was? Like seriously, he entered his face-offs in G2. He went to T1 Academy and accomplished nothing. So he went to one of the ERL teams. He accomplished nothing. Sure, he did win, but a lot of players they say that he was the biggest problem on the team. And you're placing the best ADC in the West for 2022, the one that carried your ass, the one that soloed Guma UC in Worlds 2022 with Reckless. Plus, it's not like it was peak 2020 Reckless. It was the Reckless who was underperforming in G2, had so much issues, so much drama with him. I'm sorry, I'll give you a 2. Hillsong to Rux. Hillsong had a pretty bad 2022, I won't deny it. He was entering his face off in playoffs 2022, so you can argue, but my problem with it is that it was a Rux. But you know what? Hillsong was underperforming, maybe it's washed, let's give it a try. Now, in hindsight, I'll give Upside to Reckless a 2 because I don't care what anyone says, Reckless was so bad in the 2 splits in 2023 winter and 2023 split. He was so bad. He did nothing. When people were playing shit like Draven, Kalista, Kaisa, he was playing Zaya. Because of this, his Rux, I felt so bad with Rux because he was playing so badly. Reckless was playing like a freaking pussy throughout 2023 winter, 2023 split. I don't care what anyone says. Look through the games again and tell me he wasn't bad. So a 2. Hillsong to Rux, I'll give you a 5 because I can't rate him much. His ADC was so trash that I feel bad for him. So yeah, I'll give you a 5. I don't elaborate more because I think it's an ADC diff more than anything. Yeah, okay, next we have Wonder to Oscar and Rex to Advian from winter to spring. Wonder to Oscar, I'll give you a 3 because Wonder has always been this rock of a player and he wasn't really that underperforming that much in winter, so I don't know why they made this change, but Oscar's a rookie. Next we have Rux with Advian, I'll give it a 5. Whatever, you're replacing one support who did bad with a bad AD carry with another support. I did not see this roster doing well, and in hindsight, I was right. While the Oscar has high variance, but he can carry honestly. Just in 2025 playoffs, he actually carried Fnatic to the top 3 placement. So I'll give you a 6. Actually, Oscar, you in your face off sometimes, but you do well most of the time. Rux for every, I'll give a 5. Like, I don't care. The ADC is bad, so I don't see much point in talking about it. Next, we have Reckless to Noah. Now, honestly, I don't care what anyone says. Any ADC who can replace Reckless will be better than him. I'll give it a 9. Reckless entered his face off in spring playoffs, and I swear to God, if any other ADC besides Reckless, someone like Noah, someone like Hansama, if they make the same mistake he did by flashing into the Jinx traps, they will get roasted to hell. It's only because it's Reckless and he's so well liked that people love to defend him. So I don't care. He was shit in 2023. I'm glad they replaced him with Noah. I'll give you a 9. I don't care how good Noah is, as long as you're replacing Reckless, you're good enough. The second is Advian to Trimby, which I gave a 7. Because Trimby was really, really good. I think he was a shot caller. He was an extremely integral part of Rogue's 2022 summer success. So I'll give it a 7. You know what? Sure. Let's see how it goes. And in hindsight, okay. People love to retcon history by saying Noah entered his face off in 2024 summer. But if you actually go back and you look at 2023 summer to 2024 spring, for example, Noah actually did super well. He was way better than Reckless. I don't know why people started hitting on him. Did they forget that they carried you in 2023? 7. I don't care. Yes, he entered his face off in 2024, but come on, he was way better than Reckless. Shut the fuck up. Come on. Even though Shimbi, I'll give it a 9. Even though Shimbi played for only one split, you could tell that Fnatic's Pro improved so much ever since they got Shimbi. And the bot lane became way stronger because of Shimbi, because of the shot calling, because of his aggressive picks, because of his engaged support. So I gave it a 9. He was really good in 2023 summer, and I was really sad that he only stuck with us for one split, but that's for the next slide to talk about. Shimbi to June. At the time, I'll give it a 5. I was not happy with this change. Shimbi was so good, shot caller, blah blah blah, and to see him gone I didn't like it. So I'll give it a 5. You're losing such a big piece of your puzzle. Plus, it's not like he entered in 2023, so I'll give it a 5. In hindsight, I give it a 7. June actually has moments of brilliance, and I can't say he was as aggressive as Shimbi, but he wasn't the worst pick. Plus, like 2023 was like a really rough year for Fnatic, because every single player of Fnatic take turns in things, so I'll give it a 7. Like he shit the bed in verse 2024, but overall I think it was pretty good, so I'll give it a 7, whatever. 2024 to 2025 winter, Noah to Upset, 5. Upset, even though I previously was sucking his dick, he was actually pretty bad in 2023 and 2024. You remember he was in the Vitality super team, performed like shit. He was in the KC super team, became KD, not KC super team, he was in the KC team with the other LPL jungler I can't remember the name of. So I'll give a 5. Like, he wasn't that good at the time, so I'll give a 5. June to Mickey S, I'll give you an 8. Reason being because Mickey S was super good. Shot caller, roamer, for G2, and again, you're stealing an extremely important part of your opponent's team to strengthen your team. I'll give you an 8. In hindsight, Upside actually was overall the best player of Fnatic for 2025. So I'll give it an 8. He looked like he really regained his form already. I was super happy to see him back to first, so I'll give it an 8. June to Mickey S. Mickey S actually did way better than June. He actually was roaming, he has some unique picks, so I'll give it an 8. Yes, Fnatic didn't win a title this year, but I don't think it's these two players' faults in particular. So next we have Humanoid to Poby. I don't know, man. I don't even know how to describe this change. First of all, yes, Humanoid is a liability to your team, super expensive. But replacing him with Poby? The hell? On a team that already has communication issues and macro issues, you replace a guy with a guy who can only speak Korean. I didn't really like this change much, so I only give it a 6. Plus, to me, it was like in for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well stick with Humanoid to see how he'll do. So yeah, in hindsight, I'll give it a 5. Too early to judge. He only had like 2 splits to play, and I'll see how his work is playing. But overall, I think it's a 5. He's more consistent than Humanoid, I'll give him that. But so far, I haven't seen any of those big clutch moments that Humanoid had in Sunday's 2022 summer. So yeah, I'll give it a 5 for now. It could improve, who knows. So yeah, that's the last slide from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want me to make any videos like this for any other teams, just let me know in the comments below. That being said, ciao.